Some mornings you wake up and you're just in a funky mood. You're not even sure why. You don't know if it's because you had a bad night's sleep or you dread going to work or something that you got to deal with. But this week on The Thinking Effect, we're going to talk about 5 ways that I personally like to use to boost a positive mood. Stay tuned. This is The Thinking Effect, where we help you do your daily best. And I'm your host, Tom Danger. Yeah. I think we're like at episode a lot, right? We're going to even stop counting. Just want to make sure that I keep my word to you and remain consistent. You know, some of the days have been a bit off, some personal stuff going on, but that's no excuse to you. I will do my best to show up just as you're doing your best to show up. So I appreciate you tuning in and coming along with the journey. As always, please like, subscribe, and share. And we are going to revamp the website. I've said this before. However, if you would like to get a complimentary assessment to figure out what your superpower is, tomdanger.com, hit that contact form. I know there are quite a few people that I have not got back to for interviews on the show. Please bear along. I will get back to you. We want to make sure that it is the right fit, especially since we have modified the platform from Motivation and Confidence over to The Thinking Effect. It's we're starting to niche down because Motivation and Confidence was so broad, and it's one of those, both of those words are such a cliche type of term. We wanted to make sure that it's about more or less your mindset and how your thinking affects you, right? So that's what the topic and the overall vibe of the podcast is going to be. I was going to do some salesy stuff, but it's too early in the day, so we're not going to do that right now. I'd like to start with a story. So let's see. I remember when I used to work at a corporate gig, how many mornings I would wake up and just dread going to work. And it wasn't like I wasn't good at my job. It was just, I didn't feel like being bothered. It was just one of those things where you go because you have to go, not because you want to go. And once you understand what your personality is, sometimes, like for me, because I'm an introvert, and for those of you who are introverts who can relate, you have to go into a work environment that's heavily people involved. It becomes draining, right? So imagine waking up feeling drained and then going to a draining environment. And then, you have to look at work like this. When you're an employee, you're there to basically help solve a problem. No matter how you look at it, it's helping to solve a problem. And depending on the level of complexity, you're usually paid more, right? That's not to say that you have to do more work because, higher in complexity of the problems and the less that you touch, the more you get paid. And the opposite end of the spectrum is the more you touch and handle the problems, the less you get paid. It's just unfortunate, but that's the way that it works, Nevertheless, plenty of days I would walk into the office just like, oh, man, I don't feel like being bothered. So in order to keep myself sane and in a good headspace, here are 5 things that I would pretty much do every day to help boost my mood and stay pretty much positive. And the first thing is, it's sort of like my favorite, and it's the magic of the pen. It's journaling. It's like when you first wake up and you have those unfiltered thoughts, or you have those dreams that have just come to you that usually have a message, or you've had time to reflect overnight something that has happened previously. Now you have the time to write it down. Say exactly what you feel. Don't hold back. That pen is your friend. The pen is your therapist. You can just basically say and do whatever it is that you want to say when you're writing it down. And it's not meant for anyone else to look at or review. And if you think about it, if you don't write it out at some point in time, if you feel confident enough, when you go to a therapist, the only thing they're going to do is ask you questions to draw the answers out of you. So in order to be self-empowering and to become self-aware, journal. Like I think that I've been journaling literally since I was probably 18 years old, right? Um, and I'm in my 40s now, so that's a long time. And when I wouldn't necessarily journal, I would write songs. So it was still a method for me to do some form of release. But I noticed that over the years, it has definitely helped me to reflect on, because like sometimes you may overreact to certain things. In the moment, you may not notice it. But when you take the time to write it out and at some point go back and read it, you can say, nah, like maybe I was tripping about that. That wasn't that deep. Or maybe somebody's coming at me in a passive aggressive way and I didn't say anything. And now's the time for me to confront that person, right? Or, I'm having these weird thoughts, negative thoughts, and I don't like the way they feel. Or, I keep thinking about slapping somebody in the face or punching them in the mouth, and I can't figure out why. But now's the time to figure out why. Why do you have this sense of aggression within you? And your journaling will allow you to do so. So that would be number one. What I like to do is basically twofold, okay? And it's exercise and meditate. I'm going to talk about meditation first. Now, a lot of time when people think of meditation, there's this perception that everything has to be perfectly zen and you're totally still and everything's in this particular mood and vibe. And a lot of people say, like, I can't sit still. I keep thinking about stuff and my mind won't be quiet. That's exactly the point, right? You're supposed to be still enough to allow your mind to calm down and focus on an item or focus on items and let them come and go freely. Stop trying to control everything. Let the thoughts come and go. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Even as I did that just for a second, like I'm a little nervous being on the podcast. I know you don't believe me, but yeah, it brought it down just a notch, So breathing and meditating will automatically help to reduce that anxious level that you have in your body. You ever notice, for those of you who get spanked as a kid, and after you finish getting your spanking, you have like that particular, like you let it out, like it's over with, like it's sort of like that same release. And I know it's probably a bit demented to mention it in that sense, but I remember many ass whoopings that I got, and I was happy when it was over with, right? But also exercise. And it's so funny because I know a lot of you may not like to do either one. You don't want to exercise and you don't want to meditate. But what I like to recommend is do what works best for you. So if you just sitting comfortable in a chair anywhere that's comfortable for you, or on the floor, or laying in the bed, and you're just in that relaxed state where you're not being distracted and you just want to breathe, like don't try to get all deep with techniques and all that stuff. Like just relax for a minute, right? Like take 3 minutes, 5 minutes, just relax to bring yourself down. That's like an easy way to do it. And when it comes to exercising, if you're not a person who's heavily into exercising, my huge recommendation is going for a walk, right? Take your time and go for a walk, 30 minutes a day. Now, if you live in the city, I would tell you to get off a train stop before, but the streets are so crazy right now, so I wouldn't even recommend you doing that. It's just the fact of if you want to join the gym, hit that treadmill, walk on the treadmill 20, 30 minutes. If you're fortunate to live in an area where there's a park, which is my favorite place, hang out in nature, go for a walk, taking some of that air, be around the trees, be in nature. And if you're not able to do that, there's some offices. I used to work at some jobs where you get a lunch buddy and you cut your lunch hour in half, and then the other 30 minutes, you're like walking up and down stairs, or you're just walking around the cubicles on the floor, or you're just doing some type of movement. It's just about moving to bring down whatever little bit of stress levels of aggravation that you may have. You want to figure out a way to release it because, mind you, you have to remember that when you're in that particular mood, your body is trying to tell you something. Your body is telling you that it needs something, and it's up to you to figure out what that need is, okay? The third thing is probably my favorite thing on the list, which is don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Whatever it is that is driving you crazy or you're feeling as if it's going to stress you, I'm a firm believer that our lives are already mapped out. And what it is what it is, and what it will be is what it will be. So you stressing over what a particular situation is and what the outcome may be or why a particular person may feel this way or that way, well, 9 times out of 10, it's basically you stuck in your own head with those two words, fear and doubt, that's basically shifting everything within you till you put yourself on edge and you're starting to stress yourself because you've allowed that worry to get the best of you. So sometimes you just got to take a chill and don't worry about it, okay? Number 4, I think is going to be all of our favorites, food. If you want something to help you boost your mood and make you feel good, get some food. Now, most of the time we are emotional eaters. So our default mechanism is let's get some comfort food, whatever food that's going to make us feel good. And we default to sweets, fried foods, macaroni and cheese, some chicken, some cake, some drinks, this and all that. Everything in moderation is cool. I'm all for it. But on the flip side, we're talking about leveling up. So if you want to level up, like someone said to me, if you really want to boost your mood, you go to the source of life, things that are living, right? So you want to dig into those fruits and vegetables. We talk about juicing all the time. And if you're not into juicing, that's cool. Eat an apple, peel an orange, have some strawberries, right? Find that favorite vegetable. I don't know, for some people, they're just not into vegetables. Eat a side salad, have a salad once a week, have a vegetable soup if you don't want to juice. Like, just find ways to incorporate those living items into your diet, and you'll notice a difference in how it makes you feel. I promise, you have my word. Now, number 5, if you want to boost your mood and help you be a little bit more positive, it's do something nice for someone else. Now, in New York, it can be a little tricky. One time I was walking down the street and I seen this lady that appeared to be down on her luck. Let's just put it that way. And she looks at me and she goes, "Excuse me, sir, do you have a quarter?" I don't like carrying change because I don't like the sound of jingling things in my pocket. So I went in my pocket and I pulled out $1 and I handed her the dollar bill. And she looked at me and said, "I didn't ask you for this shit." And she threw it on the floor, right? Mind you, my feelings was hurt because I gave her $1. She asked me for a quarter. I gave her, 3 times the amount that she asked for. And she was ungrateful. But it was my intention of doing something nice. So you can do things for nice people. But the point of the story is, if you don't always feel comfortable with actually physically involving yourself with another person, you could always secretly in your mind wish people well. A person walking past, I wish this lady has a wonderful day. I wish this gentleman has a wonderful day. I wish the children have the love and peace that they seek to receive. I wish all happy love and peace for everybody that's around me, those that come into contact with me, and those that pass me. And that in itself is like planting seeds. So the information and the seeds that you plant out there are the things that will come back to you. And the bonus one of them all is laugh. You need to find something to laugh at. Find something that makes you laugh so hard that your stomach just starts to hurt and it starts to cramp. So those are the 5 ways that I would 5 ways that I use to boost my mood and to stay positive. What else would you add to that particular list? Shoot us an email or drop something in the comments. This is The Thinking Effect, where we help you do your daily best.